And we see Minguitos. I'm not sure if this guy's a professional short stacker. The Spanish guys tend to be. But he seems very, very aggressive. So I actually wouldn't mind if he shipped this in. I mean, he's playing high VPIP, high 3-bet. He just shoved all in already. He could just be tilted or on drugs. I think I would ship this in. King 9 off, easy raise. Queen 6 is kind of close. Against nittier players, you can raise this. So we see that the big blind is playing 49 VPIP. He looks to me like a recreational player, so we could target him if we wanted to. And with Queen 10 of hearts, again, villain is playing a lot of hands. I would probably end up betting myself here. We can definitely have a betting range here against a very loose player. And Queen 10 suited with the backdoor flush draw, you've got pretty good backdoor equity. And if he folds a hand like, 9-7 of clubs, that's not even that bad for you. Ace 10 deuce is a close one. Some people bet range, some people don't. I will be fine with you doing so. But this guy's kind of nitty, so I actually don't mind this. And now we just gotta fold. I'd really like to see you c-bet with the Queen 10. Probably you c-bet a little bit larger. Villain snap calls, so he's saying, I've got like a decent hand. Unfortunately, the 6 is not very good for you. It is a card that he hits a decent amount of the time. Because, I mean, if he's playing 40, 50 VPIP, right, he's going to flat quite a few 6s on the button. But how many do you really raise under the gun? So it's kind of close. I think checking is actually an okay play. He's going to just check behind it quite often. Ace 8, meanwhile, easy raise on the button. Ace 4, you could 3-bet at low frequency, but, it's kind of loose. I mean, the guy has an avatar, like a wrapper avatar, making me want to 3-bet him, but it's still quite loose. Also, people with wrapper avatars tend to be loose themselves, so it's not like they overfold or never 4-bet. Ace 10 off, kind of close, but I would call. I mean, I don't hate the bet, I mean, it's one of those hands that doesn't really mind getting a fold because you only have queen high, and check calling kind of sucks, check raising kind of sucks. So in that sense, betting makes sense, but then again, it is a card in which you should do a lot of checking. 10-3-3, we face a half pot bet. This hand definitely gets check raised sometimes. Now, do we want to get all the money in? No, but there's just a lot of value to be had versus a medium-sized bet on a board this dry. And now on the river, I mean, flush gets there. He's not folding 6. I think he's folding a king, so you block some of the backdoor hearts he folds. I would say this hand is usually just a give up. Yeah, obviously that's annoying, but even this hand, I'm not sure he folds that. And you see, this player is calling a lot of bad hands on the button, so I definitely like being aggressive against him. I like the check raise of ace 10. Not always, but often. Pretty good games, actually. You're seeing a lot of recreational players in this game. Obviously, open raising king queen. And so before we saw 40, 50 VPIP recreationals, now we've seen 18-13 player, right? So when an 18-13 player cold calls in the cutoff, that's a little bit scary to me. He could definitely have hands like ace 10 suited and jacks even, or wouldn't be shocked if he has queens and, 10-9 suited and whatnot. So I'm going to be careful in this flop. Yeah, I like it. And he checks behind pretty quickly. So now I would say betting is best. You've got a good hand, right? It's not a hand you really want to check raise with, but I think betting is good. And with king, queen, again, kind of close, mostly betting. Okay, I like it. I mean, king 8 is one of those boards, it's pretty good, but not great. It's good in the sense that, it's kind of dry, right? But the 8 does hurt you because villain should have a lot of 8s to defend with. An ace jack. I'm not sure what you're checking, but your hand is an easy open raise. Actually, you do something interesting here. You raise the 3x rather than 2.5. So you must believe that your opponents are too loose and, they'll just call right about anything. That's actually a good adjustment. Ace king suited, meanwhile, easy 3-bet. Jack 6-4 is an okay board for you. You know, you're going to have jacks every time. The 6 and the 4 kind of hurt you a little bit. But this opponent seems kind of tight. As in, he's kind of passive, it seems like. So I don't think this type of player is going to go crazy check raising you. And so when he quickly calls, it looks like he's got a medium strength hand, like a hand like pocket eights or ace queen. The 7 is not really good for you because he can have some 2 pair, some sets, some pair plus draws. So I'll probably just check behind this hand most of the time. River Queen is a card that you can represent pretty well. I mean, villain, again, checks pretty quickly. It really looks to me like he's got some kind of weak pair. So if you were to bet big here, you could get him to fold. Upside of checking would be that, you know, you occasionally win. Villain could just have a hand like ace 10, ace 9 offsuit or something, and you win. Not very likely, but it's possible for sure. So this Yanecito guy seems quite aggressive. At least over a couple hands. I would not fold here with ace-jack. And so Yanecito now checks. So we could easily be ahead against a hand like king-jack or jack-9, jack-8. Maybe he check-raised the hand like 3-4, you know, 5-4 suited, and now he has a pair. It's kind of close between betting or checking. If you were to bet here, probably size up a little bit. Checking the stats. You can probably make a better decision than I can in this hand just because you know this player better. And now when he quickly checks, if he did have a queen or a 10, I don't think he's folding. And if he's bluffing, then, you know, you obviously win. So he does have, well, I guess the 5-4, right? I just didn't guess the suits. So, okay, he's defending 5-4 against a 3x raise. Obviously, that's way too loose. He's check raising with garbage. So, okay, this guy is extremely aggressive. So from now on, we're not really looking to fold against this guy. And you actually got a bit unlucky there. So if I were you now, let's say you wanted to take a shot at 200 NL. This guy immediately left. I mean, he left in the cutoff. I think it's very likely that this player now just moves to 200 NL. So if, let's say, you play 200 NL or you're shotting, I'd immediately open the lobby and see if he joined. Jack 6, I mean, I don't like his limp at all at 51. You can occasionally bluff raise Jack 6 here. I would imagine that most of your opponents are not going to have many limp 3 bets. Meanwhile, pocket 5s, I would like to see a bet for value and protection. Villain doesn't have a full stack. He quickly check behind. He probably has just a very weak range. So I'd like to see you bet here. Not very large, of course. Ace 10 easy raise. And with a pair of 6s, probably just want to get it to showdown. Do I think these guys are going to go crazy check raising? Probably not. But there's just a lot of better hands that check call you. Okay, I like the fact that you're taking a note here. You know, with ace-jack there, against a nitty opponent, you can just fold to the check raise, right? But against him, obviously not. So it's a good way of getting reads on your opponents, because obviously you cannot remember everything people did. I would have liked a bet with pocket 5s, and I think you can probably call now. So I think you lost out on a bit of value and protection there. Don't hate the bet with jack 6. King 9 is close, but I think we can call. So normally it wouldn't be very close, but again, the rake's high. Also, villain is opening 38% on the button, which is kind of nitty, of course. And now he bets 2/3 pot, like 60% pot, which is not a big sizing I'm really a fan of. This player doesn't seem like he understands fundamentals too well, but we just got to fold. Nitty player, C-bets, probably not that often, and he C-bets larger. So, you know, a borderline hand like King 9 becomes a fold. King's easy raise. 5x is okay. It's a little bit on the large side, but if you believe he's very loose, it's fine. So with 7-3 here, you see this table is breaking and you're in the small blind. What you should do is mark the big blind, sit on next big blind. yeah, mark sit on next big blind, then just play very quickly and try and get the button. So so sit on next BB. You're not really clicking that, so you're probably going to lose out on a lot of big blinds over the years. So if we go back, I mean, this seems kind of ridiculous to talk about, but I think it's quite important. Actually, in fact, I think I was wrong, and I think you're starting a table. When it comes to starting tables, I would generally avoid that unless the games just start almost right away. Because obviously right now, all three of you are losing quite a bit of money just to rake, right? You're probably paying 6 plus big blinds and rake, and even though you're probably the best player at this table so far, you're not going to beat these guys for 6 plus big blinds. Queen 8, easy open raise. Ace 5, easy 3-bet. You could even, you could even do something and like a 5-bet shove against a 4-bet, even though it is quite loose. Ace 4 here is usually a call against a 3-bet. And Queen 8, I'd probably give up. You could 4-bet your hand in a small percentage if you like. And with Ace 5 suited, I would imagine that the average player here doesn't 4-bet very often, so we can probably not shove. But if you believe that your opponents are very aggressive, you can definitely go ahead and do so. I mean, so Noise Core is playing 29-22, which is kind of loose, 8% 3-bet. That's kind of tight. So let's see how often he 4-bets. I don't hate a fold. I don't hate it. Also, I'd recommend that you use a program like Stars Helper because every time you're clicking 2.5 now, and if Stars Helper does that for you, it's just easier and you could just play more hands. So P-Base raises the 28 big blinds, which is kind of strange here. It's kind of an annoying spot, to be honest. I think shoving is probably best. I mean, Boyd never has you beat, I would say. Even if he's nitty, he doesn't have you beat, I would say. So when P-Base, whatever, I'll call it P-Base. When he goes for the large squeeze, yeah, I'm not sure what this means. I think you want to end up shoving here. There's so much money in the pot. I don't think you want to end up calling here and then the board's king high and he bombs it and then you fold or call fold. I think you want to shove it in or fold. I think shoving is best. It kind of sucks that you're a little bit over 100 big blinds deep, but I think shoving is best. Unless you believe that this guy is just a huge nit and he just does this with aces and kings. High variance spot for sure. Ace-Jack suited kind of sucks, but I think we have to fold. I'm not that worried about the Yanizito, like the name, by the way, but I think we have to fold. Unless you believe that Minguitos is very, 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 very aggressive. Yeah, it sucks. I mean, I'd make a note to say, like, huge squeeze aces, you know, so, okay. If you have the 5-4 offsuit, it would be more interesting. Meanwhile, if pot ace 4, we could consider a bluff raise, right? So I think it went check, 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 and then bet. So you block ace jack, which is near the top of his calling range, and ace queen. You block pocket 4s, which you'd probably play as a check back twice very often. So I wouldn't hate a bluff raise, but obviously you're not repping very, very many hands, right? You'd be repping mostly 4s or, you know, maybe a hand like king queen you check back a few times. So yeah, you're not repping much. Of course, pretty nice when you get the BTS run good, you know. That comes, if you sign as a student, you get the patented BTS run good. You saw some of it in action right there. So now we go 2.2 with ace queen, which is kind of confusing. Jack 6, sometimes 3, but mostly call. Obviously never folding. And I like the fold with ace 4. I think bluff raise is okay, but I don't think he's bluffing enough. And we see Minguitos. I'm not sure if this guy's a professional short stacker. The Spanish guys tend to be. But he seems very, very aggressive. So I actually wouldn't mind if he shipped this in. I mean, he's playing high VPIP, high 3-bet. He just shoved all in already. He could just be tilted or on drugs. I think I would ship this in. Yeah, I think I would ship this in. Jack 6, easy call. Yeah, I would chip this in. He's been so aggressive. And it's only for 60 bigs, right? And so stop what you're doing. I should stop the footage. So it seems like Boig is a reg and Fafa is a reg. You should sit out immediately here. You know, the recreationals are gone. You don't want to end up paying extra big blinds. I don't think Noise Core is very strong when he takes this line, but Jack 6 is not the greatest bluffing hand ever. And it's close between checking and turning it into a bluff, but checking is probably standard. Okay.